the name of the values that keep you alive, do not let your vision of man be distorted by the ugly, the cowardly, the mindless, and those who have never achieved his title. Do not lose your knowledge that man's proper estate is an upright posture, an intransigent mind, and a step that travels on limited roads. Do not let your fire go out. Spark might replace the spark, and the hopeless swamps of the approximate, the not quite, the not yet, the not at all. The world you desired can be won. It exists. It is real. It is possible. It's yours.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Economy Podcast. Today we have a special episode with three of the founders of the MORTY token. So thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
So I guess to start off, it would be great if maybe the three of you could just introduce yourselves quickly and just tell everyone what you've done and who you are.
Kurt, you want to start?
Sure. I'm Kurt, and I have a background in engineering, and I've been working in crypto for maybe about 7 years now, and just built a lot of apps and just like to create stuff with my friends, and now I'm a little bit more on the biz side. I'm a founder of an app called Dmail that's a decentralized email client for blockchains. It's on EOS now.
And I'm Brian Larkin. I'm the founder of Skylab Technology, which is a general technology consulting firm. We do everything from aerospace engineering, cybersecurity, IT security. We kind of do it all. I started in the crypto space in early 2010, running on the hardware side mostly. Built a large mine for mining Bitcoin, where we mined about 1% of the BTC space. Then I've just been around, bouncing around as an advisor in the crypto sphere here throughout the entire ICO boom, and now I've kind of just settled around being a CTO, hopping from company to company and breaking things. That's what I do.
Yeah, and I'm Jared. I have a marketing company. It's called Citadel. We mostly focus on like web and SEO, a lot in the CBD space because it's popping right now for SEO. In the crypto space, it's more of like a side hobby, I guess, for me. It's where all the smartest friends I have that are all like doing different things or moving to or have been in the space for a while, like Kurt and Brian. And then I also like to basically just connect people. So getting smart people together in the same room and seeing what problems we can solve. So.
Great. Well, thank you guys, and it's super exciting to have you guys all here together. So what was it that brought you guys together that had that got you to come up with the MORTY token, and what is the MORTY token in the sense that is it sort of a play off of the Rick and Morty show? Does it have any other relevance to that? And what are you guys hoping to do with it?
Well, I'm going to hand this over to Kurt because it was actually his brainchild. So I'll let him tell you about the inception of it.
Perfect.
All right, well, I have heard a rumor that I created it, but it's really kind of a decentralized product or a project. So first is I'm a big Rick and Morty fan, and I also love the idea of meme coins. I think that meme coins in crypto are like a lot deeper than people really understand because they're sort of like this way that people can form tribes, and they can also it's a way of people to belong, and I think that they're kind of a deeper form of expression, whereas we've had these sort of government created cryptocurrencies where it's like you're just born into this world where the government gives you these like pieces of paper, and that's mostly what people think of as money. But then crypto allows for all these other possibilities, and so I started thinking about kind of like we're calling it a CRPG, a crypto role-playing game, where like you have these communities of people or tribes, and they kind of exchange like in this kind of niche way, right? And so I usually do a hackathon project each weekend, and then I just really wanted to learn more about creating currencies and creating EOS tokens, and so I created these scripts for doing it. And then I really love Rick and Morty, so I thought there needs to be a better meme coin on EOS or another chain. And Doge is kind of an example of one that I think is really awesome. And so it's kind of like, but also needs a utility and introduces people into wallets and stuff. So we created it over the weekend, and then Brian and Jared are just like right there, and my bros, and so obviously wanted them to be involved. So I brought them on, and I think that people kind of just get it. And then just to the Rick and Morty part, like why Rick and Morty is because they have digital currencies in Rick and Morty. It kind of has these like neuromancer, like cyberpunk kind of themes in a way. It's a lot of fun. I think it's going to grow. I think that there'll eventually be live action shows. And because it's a multi-universe and multi-channel kind of world, I wanted people to have something that was a little more tangible so they could like feel like they're participating in that Rick and Morty universe. And so that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, I was almost imagining a coin where the value just fluctuates between 0 and 1 at random intervals. Just, I don't know if you guys remember that episode, but thought that might be interesting. So,
Yeah, I mean, I saw what Kurt was doing with it, and I instantly got it. I said, "Oh, this is a win." And so, like, it threw my brain into overdrive, and I just started, I kind of forced Kurt to give me a couple billion Mortys so I could start bribing people. So he did, and I just went on a rampage and started bribing for the most ridiculous stuff you could ever imagine. And then we went on to I think what's really cool about this is being a crypto role playing game and being able to bring the real world into the digital life, and those are the different multiverses, right? And so having like things like the 833 for Mortys telephone maze game, which dispenses Mortys, is one of the things that really shows, oh, okay, there is a link between the real world and the digital world, with a token, and being able to get, like, I bribed the CEO of StreetSaw.com. I bribed him to ship me an off-road hoverboard. I paid for the hoverboard with fiat, but I paid for the shipping in Mortys.
wow.
So it's got that intrinsic value. It's got, if you believe it's worth something, it's going to be worth something. That's really kind of how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
so
kind
that's super interesting to me, the fact that you can just, tell someone that you have 10 billion odd Mortys and they have no idea what it's worth. And so how do you even go about deciding like what number you offer someone? Did you do like a rough price estimate in your head, or are you just shooting them off at your
I think
discretion?
that's different for everyone, really. I think for me, and I can see it between everybody in the channel. For me, it's what kind of mood I'm in. Do you want 10,000 Mortys, or are you getting 100,000 Mortys? It also depends on the difficulty of the bribe at hand. But
Yeah,
Jared's done some
basically,
really
it's
great
just
bribes.
the
So
mood is the big thing. It's like the
Jared's
human
got a
nature of
unique
it
way
all,
of,
of just
of,
like
of
what kind of mood you're
monetizing.
in. Do you like the person, or do you just want to be in like a giving mood? But a lot of the bribes are like 10,000 Mortys to go run into a crowd and yell out like "Wubba Lubba Dub Dub" or something about the Morty Town Locos, different references in the episodes that people watch. Um, so we've done a lot of Twitter giveaways too. One right now I think that Kurt is starting is to create a big whale. Um, I don't know when that ends, but Kurt, you want to talk about that? That's a big one.
Yeah, we have a 500 million Morty giveaway for anybody who creates a cool meme about Morty's tokens. And so like the idea is that like we've already made some children whales, which is probably illegal, but or I mean it's probably not illegal, but it's fun. But like my nephew fucks with it a little bit, and he's like 13, and there's like kids that are kind of into it and getting introduced to wallets and stuff, and I think that that's kind of dope. But we're giving away 500 million. The idea is if you create a really cool meme and it gets voted as the best one, then you become a whale. And so because there is no value, like back to the value thing, like I think it's sort of a lesson in currencies and like what is value really. And we kind of think that people that are talking too much about the USD value, like we kind of label them as Jerry's, and then we just try to boot them out of our groups. So like if anybody exhibits any kind of like Jerry-like behavior, then we just like we boot their asses out like unapologetically. We just like throw them out of our groups if they start like talking about exchanges or like how much is that worth. We just boot them because we don't give a shit really. We don't care at all. Like I think that it's just fun and like maybe someday it'll have value, maybe not. Like for us now it's like a game. It's like nobody starts playing Monopoly and then starts like asking like what is this money worth, you know?
Right. It's gotten ruthless. Like there was somebody who created the Rick chain originally, and he jumped into the Telegram group, and I immediately just ruthlessly shut him down. And like 4 or 5 days later, I get a message from this person. They'll make me a Rick millionaire if I just let them back in the channel, and I just said no, no, that's not cool.
Yeah, and so like bribing is like the core function. Like at and kind of back to why we created it was I there's this guy named Krombopolis Michael in the show, and Krombopolis Michael, he's like an assassin, right? And he gets paid in flurbos, and so I thought that that was really dope. I thought it would be really cool if like you're playing a game like Star Citizen or some other open world game where you're playing against other people, like maybe Fortnite or something like that, and you could use a cryptocurrency for like assassinations. Like you can be like, dude, we got to put a hit on this guy because he's a fucking asshole. Like anybody who comes in and takes this guy out will like earn this currency, right? It's like an assassination like currency. But I
I
kind
mean,
of
Morty's is pretty good for digital murder.
yeah, it is. I think it is. And then
Yeah, so that'll be
it,
your tagline.
but then like bribery became a thing because we were just trying to think of like what would it's kind of like the Mortytown logos have kind of like taken control of the role playing because it's probably the funnest thing. Like not a lot of people are going to be like, well, I'm like just traditional Morty. I think it's what Morty C137 or whatever. He's kind of like not very like confident and he's just kind of follows Rick around, and I think that nobody enjoys role
Scary
playing
Terry.
that. So like everybody just immediately started gravitating towards role playing like evil Morty or there's
One
a
true Morty.
character yeah. Then there's the Mortytown Locos, and the Mortytown Locos are kind of shady, and so like that's kind of they've sort of taken over, and so the Mortytown Locos are like constantly bribing other people. And then there's just like it's really fun. There's just random people. Like there's this dude named Rick and Higar, and it's like the most random shit ever because it's based off of this really obscure character, Jack and
And the
Hagar
bribes are
from
important, I
Game of
think,
Thrones,
because
and
I've been
Rick
offered like
from Rick and
$100.
Morty,
How
and
much
it's
will
just
this
like
get me?
the
How many Mortys
weirdest,
can I buy for
nerdiest
whatever? And
bullshit ever, and it's
no
just
one's
like brings
accepting
so
any
much
actual
joy to me
money for
personally.
Mortys, and you can only get them through bribes. So the fact that we make it fun like that, which has been
Yeah,
super
and
important for that.
that's been one of like the biggest things. I mean, I was able to right away bribe some of the top people in the cryptocurrency industry, especially like I was able to get like people like Brock Pierce and Crystal Rose and to put up posts almost instantly for bribes because they just get it because they we work people like us, we work in this industry daily, like it's like living in the future. And so when you go and you work with other people that aren't in the crypto industry, it's kind of like, oh, you're using that money, ooh, how dirty. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like bring it in through bribes, proof of bribe, proof of shill. The dirtier the better. It's kind of like this. It's almost like it's a joke coin. So whatever you're not supposed to do in traditional tokens, we're gonna do it here. If that makes
Yeah,
sense
and
to you.
it's almost kind of like a parody too. Like I feel like it's people are now just openly talking about things that are probably just going on behind closed doors, like bribing and collusion and cartels and all of this stuff. It's like now you can just do it without having
Openly.
to hide it. So
Yeah. Open collusion.
yeah.
So
But
you
yeah.
guys have the Donald Trump of cryptocurrencies. It's brash. It's out there. It's
It's got
unforgiving.
style. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
It's got style.
So, what was it like building on EOS, and why would you go to EOS right away? Is there? I mean, I know you guys sort of you're sort of amicable to EOS, and especially in the West Coast, that tends to be the case. But what has been your experience working with it?
So I made the choice of EOS because I think that it's friendlier towards like I mean I think it really comes down to resource costs. It's frankly just cheaper and easier for users to play around with EOS than it is Ethereum. Like I can't even imagine people having to come in and then pay gas prices to send this currency for a bribe. I mean, that would be totally ridiculous. It would just be a deal breaker. I think that honestly, I think that EOS is probably the only one that's even friendly enough for like we have all of these people that have never even interacted with cryptocurrency ever, and even people who've been in the industry who maybe
Right, and
they've
I've
bought some
personally brought
Ethereum
about
here or
20
there, but
people
they've never
onto the
actually
EOS
used a
Links app.
cryptocurrency in any
That's
meaningful
Fred
way.
Krueger's app,
And I think that that's
and
something that
it's been the
EOS makes
easiest
a little bit
usage
easier
for
than
tokens,
Ethereum or the
sending,
other
receiving, all
chains.
that. So that's been kind of like a lucky
Yeah,
thing for operating on EOS, because basically, as no gas, people send for free. There is the resource management issue for some people that send a lot of tokens, but for the most part, EOS has been kind of user friendly in the sense.
yeah, and I'm a very good friend of Fred Krueger. He and I go back to the olden times of the internet. But I'll tell you, as far as a platform for onboarding new users, I personally have helped many people with the whole Morty's bribes, getting them onboarded into the wallet, and then once they're there, it kind of clicks in their head. You see, like you when you're face to face with them, you can even see it where they go, oh, that's how it works. It's not that complex. I go, yeah, exactly. It's not that complex. Again, the resource management issue is actually being handled right now by there's a third party company coming out that's going to do vCPU and VRAM, which in the background will just handle that issue for you. So in the future, that's the resource issue is not even going to be a problem. So now it'll just be have fun and play. Um, and the ease of use in comparison to ETH is I mean, such a huge win for EOS.
Do you worry that because it's so easy that it's easy enough for just about anyone to pop these coins out and pretty much do exactly what you're doing, just like the Rick coin, for example?
Well, it's not easy in a sense of just popping a coin out there. I mean, if it was this easy, everyone would do it. It's easy for the end user to use the tokens. On the back end side, sure. I mean, you could pop
Exactly.
out a coin. It doesn't mean it's going to have any value or people are going to want to use it. It has to have something that goes along with it that mates with it. The marketing behind it has to be right. The business behind it structure has to be right, and the intent most of all has to be right. Like the
Yeah,
intent with Morty, the
you
intent
could
with Morty is
create a
for fun.
coin, but you can't really create a community. And I do love the idea that people can create the currencies freely because if you think about it,
I like that.
what I think of cryptocurrencies as is sort of like the Gutenberg press for currencies in a way. Like somebody asking whether or not we should worry about somebody creating a currency is not very much different from the history of people saying, oh, if the people can print their own journals or their own newspapers, like isn't that going to be dangerous, right? Like a blog is like their worst nightmare, right? And I think that overall, the evolution of having a nobody in their, in their room just
100%.
printing an article on a blog is a better world. And I think you can apply that same kind of logic towards currencies. I think that anybody should be able to create them, and that the world of currencies it has just started actually. Like there'll probably be like individual currencies even for one small cafe or something like that, right? Like whereas in the early days
It's
of the
important.
internet, no everybody was like, it was a scam and oh, you added a .com to your IPO or something, and now fucking Joe's Cafe has a little website now, you know what I mean? And like that's probably where currencies are going in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, money at the end of the day isn't real,
And
So it doesn't matter, It's all going to eventually, way in the future, we'll just go walk up to a wall like on Star Wars or Star Trek and replicate the food we need, It's the time for money is dying slowly, but it is dying.
I strongly disagree with that actually. But I do appreciate what, like, this is why I love these guys. These guys are like really different thinkers. That's why I think that we're a pretty amazing team actually. But like in my opinion, like microtransactions of currencies are like about to enter the Cambrian explosion. Like
Oh, for sure.
and the trend is, the way I see it is that, like, in that scenario where you're printing out your food, the cryptocurrencies are making that possible, in a
Exactly.
seamless way, right? Like, I see cars having their own ledgers, and just the way that crypto is going to change the way that, like, every transaction can really be tracked in a lot of ways. Like, a fucking bee farmer could have an AI tracking all of his bees that pollinate some other farm's flowers, and every interaction could be a micro crypto transaction, for example. So I think the uses for crypto and ledgers is like going to be so massive that we can't even understand it.
Right, but it won't be used as a currency at that point. It's going to be used as just a transactional record at that point. Currency, in the future, the way I view currency is dead. It's going to be just a transactional record for record keeping.
Yeah.
You got X from Y.
I would still see it. I think we're probably saying the same thing. I would still see it as a currency, Like, if I go to Chuck E. Cheese and they have a crypto, like in all the games I play, it's going to be tracked with us. It's not just a ledger, because the ledger, it needs a context, and to me, the context of that ledger is the token, right? Like, there's it's like a micro economy for every business. That's kind of the way I see it, and the underlying, like, incentive layer is a currency. So like crypto role playing games to me are really huge examples, because there needs to be somebody observing some activity or some gameplay, right? And then you mine these tokens via gameplay. Like, we have this chat mining bot inside of Morty's, which is really exactly that. Like, if you just leave a message inside of our Telegram
Right.
chat,
This is
there's
the
a bot
amazing thing
there
I
that's
think
tracking
about
every single
Morty's in
message
general
and
is that
rewards
it's
you
such
in
an
Morty
arbitrary,
just for
worthless meme
contributing to the
token, but in a
community. And
sense, it's
like, that's
also
like,
this
to me,
this
like
like
the
gateway
beginning of
to
how you
a
can
much
even
deeper
monetize
discussion of we've
full
already gone on like a
communities, and how many
tangent basically,
communities are
but it's
there.
still relevant
Every
of
community could have its
what's
own
the future of
quote
money
unquote
even look
currency,
like?
right?
Is it the arbitrariness of
Yeah.
Morty's, or is it like the exchange of value in the context of it all? So I think that's so interesting. It's worthless, but at the same time, it's much more than a normal dollar. Like,
Yeah, I mean, through the history of money, I think it's interesting. There have been times when government currencies were weak, when corporations would step out and put out currencies that were essentially just valid at their locations. So it seems like as governments probably do become weaker in the future and a lot of their systems and infrastructure become outdated, you might have a system where you have people essentially bartering within their own communities to exchange value, and then you have to figure out where the value within communities really lies. So, like, for example, I have a friend who is one of the best World of Warcraft players in the world, and it's like the XP that guy has and the recognition he has in his server is worth more than gold when it comes to like meeting women. It doesn't matter how much money he has
so
in the
what can
bank.
Morty's
He's
bring?
got credit in an online ecosystem. It's like so
Wait a minute. This guy gets laid from World of
Yeah,
Warcraft.
there's
you
no way
wouldn't
that's
believe
happening.
it. You would
There's
not
no way
believe the
that's
Wow.
happening.
library on this kid's phone of nudes
Right.
like I get on a daily basis.
Shit. I came
It's
to learn. I'm learning
yeah,
some gay
no.
shit right
But see, that's the thing. It's all about, what does value within the community mean? And it might not mean anything to the girl who's going to college next door to you, but if some girl in Virginia thinks it's cool, that's all that matters in the
It's kind
context.
of like
Right?
classic fungibility if you think about it, like where something is valuable in one context and meaningless in another context. And I feel like there's a lot of examples of this kind of stuff. Like, airline, miles that you earn and stuff like that. And then, the secondary markets can determine what that's really worth at some point in time, and even, uh, not to mention anything that you guys already know, but like that World of Warcraft world where his XP is probably just a currency that could be sold, and, all of those items should be digital items that could be traded, things like that, right?
Yeah, I mean they can be traded. It doesn't Wax do that? The Worldwide Asset Exchange allows you to just buy and sell digital goods. So, I mean, he could possibly monetize all that XP in his World of
Yeah.
Warcraft world if
He
he
can
wants.
monetize his rating experience to get you to the next level too, if
Hmm.
you offer up the right ante. So I mean that's just
We
exactly what
call
you're
them
saying. Morty's
bribes,
as
man.
bribes. Yep. Yeah. It's the bribe you're willing to give.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did we bribe you? Is
he
that how
has
we
been
got?
I've been
bribed.
adequately
Yeah.
bribed. That's
Oh,
why you're sitting
nice.
here today. Yeah.
Wow.
Another successful case of Morty's doing the job.
Right?
It feels good.
Feels
Yeah,
good.
it
Feels
does.
real good.
So, how did you guys decide on like how many tokens you were going to print and like how you're going to distribute them? Was there a conversation or you just kind of playing it by ear and seeing how it goes?
Yeah, it's kind of like Evil Morty. Like, if you guys know Quado from Total Recall,
Total
like
Recall.
like you guys remember Quado? Like he was like that little dude that like lived inside of that guy's belly, and he like hid him inside of his jacket, but he was basically controlling the world. The decision was kind of made like that. Like I have like this evil Morty inside me, and he just like makes all the decisions, and then like maybe advises with the other the other guys sometimes. But it's kind of run sort of like a fucked up dictatorship right now. There's no real decentralization behind it. But like so like what I do is I just like we kind of like king make all these fucked up people, and then like they just kind of battle and do stupid shit. But like the the main like supply, I think we're at what, 10 trillion.
10 trillion.
Um,
Yeah.
so there is a specific reason behind that, and I'm glad that we're documenting it here because it'd probably be forgotten forever. Is that like this currency has to work across multiple like versions of the universe, and so like it's minted in one universe and it doesn't exist in the other universe, so you need enough. So it's actually the supply is way lower than Bitcoin if you include all of the other multiverses and even like different alternate realities. So you have to have a high supply, and actually, you can do I think you can do 999 trillion on the EOS blockchain, and I thought about doing that, but I just wanted to do. I think it's 100 trillion actually. Fuck, I forget
Is it
now.
100 or 10? I thought it was 10. Could be
Uh,
100.
In
I'll,
marketing.
I'll look it up right now.
No worries.
But yeah,
Can you
there's
take
there's
me
over.
through?
No, no rush. No rush.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, there's 10
Um,
trillion.
10 trillion.
okay.
Yeah.
Can you take me through some of the multiverses for which this is going to be useful? So we have sort of the bribing layer, and then you've touched sort of on the gaming layer. Is that correct so far?
Yeah, I mean the multiverses stuff is just like bullshit, but I think
It's
that
great
like
marketing language, so.
yeah, it's just it's just a theme, but so right now the core utility I would say is like bribery, and really if you look under the hood, what that is a social mechanic. It's a growth mechanic. So I wanted to tie what you actually do as a utility to also allow it to grow. So like bribing for retweets and stuff like that. It's really tied into a social loop, but so we can do a better job of that, I think, in the future and find more interesting ways to do that. But I do want to use it in games. So Sense Chat will probably be the first app that will actually incorporate the tokens into it. And we have some other games that we're working on as well that will incorporate the tokens. So it's really about getting the tokens in these
100%.
different games and different worlds so that,
But what's interesting
like
about those,
if a game came out
what's interesting
tomorrow, we
about
could
those ones
probably
though
just
is that
seed
they're
the
all for
game with a
money.
few billion of these
They always
tokens,
just
and they
say,
could have
we're
their
going
own
on
economy
exchanges, we're
with
going
these
on this,
tokens
and
inside of it. I mean,
again,
they might
we
want to create their own,
don't
but
do any token
it
exchanges
might
at
be
all
that
unless they're bribed, and those are
they want
usually
to
for like
incorporate this
just crazy
alongside their
actions,
own
or
token. Like I'm
I bribed
seeing a lot of
someone
other
to send
tokens
me
are
a
actually
T-shirt that they
trying to
made of a
ride off of
custom Morty's
our
token,
community to grow
like
their own
graphic.
tokens. So
And my personal goal for Morty's when
the
I first
bribery
heard
stuff
about this was
works.
how cool would this to be if in like a meta sense Morty tokens were a thing in an actual Rick and Morty episode. So I know we have connections to like Dan Harmon and I think Justin Roiland as well, but my personal goal would be to like that'd be cool to meet them, but also to eventually get Morty tokens in an episode. That'd be the full circle for me personally. Like instead of Flurbos, you have Schmeckles. Why not Morty tokens? Make a whole like Blitz and Chips episode about that, and have that in like a Roy currency or something. That's crazy.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
gonna
that's what I was
happen.
wondering if you could put it injected into one of their sort of in game economies or yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, in a world of infinite possibilities, because there's infinite dimensions, there's absolutely a dimension where Morty's is the currency.
Yeah, and it really fits in with the theme of the show. Like they have these different currencies and different worlds, and so if you look at like traditional merchandising, because there's another like kind of business kind of story behind something like this, is that people are moving away from these physical goods, and like if you really think about what is an action figure or some thing that you buy that's part of a show, like what does it mean to own a Game of Thrones like Jon Snow doll, which I've never bought, but I thought about buying one the other day, right? And it's like
I'm
it's because
totally
you,
buying you one now.
it's because you take this thing out of this show, which is this like beautiful narrative that is in your mind, and you've like
Oh
pulled it
yeah.
out of that like virtual space of where it exists in your mind, and you hold it in your hand and you feel more connected to that, right? But because this physical world of like merchandise like is going away, like this is the new way to do that, to have either a currency that's tied to that world or an NFT or something like that. And to me, that's the future of action figures, right? And so this is kind of in a way like an experiment too, to see how that works. Like, how does a fandom of a certain show or
Right.
or
Just
theme or something, how do they feel when they have a currency that they could trade that's loosely related to
it's like
that
storytelling throughout
world that they're
humanity,
that
but
they've
then you actually
invested
can
so
be a
much
piece
time.
of
Like
it. It's
people
that's
watch this shit
exactly
to feel
that's
good at the
amazing.
end of their day, and it like becomes a real story in their mind. Like I believe that people don't really understand the difference between a Rick and Morty universe and their own universe, and sometimes the Rick and Morty universe might even be more meaningful than their own,
Yeah.
right?
Just a story they tell
I
themselves.
do believe you just hit the nail on the head for Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then and we're like big fans, you know what I mean? Like if anybody like some people will come in and say like, aren't you scared that someone's going to come in and sue you? It's like we're not making any money. We've engaged all these people that are fans and connected them with this thing that we can transfer, I think
And
that
Dan and Justin have also,
hopefully
at
those
least from my
people would
perspective of
would
the
think it's
show,
really cool and see
I've
that we
seen
kind
different
of
episodes
discovered
where
something that we
Rick will
knew. Like
himself turn to the screen and
how
like
many
say
people
like a
are trading
catchphrase
like
or something else, and
Simpsons
it's
tokens? Like it
intended
just
for
doesn't
Rick to be
exist,
speaking
like
to the
it's
viewer,
a
like
whole
out
new
of the
thing,
show in a
Oh
more
and
of
we've
yeah.
kind of
a
proved it
third
out and
party sense of
sacrificed our own
just the
time
viewer and
to do it, and
watching
hopefully
something.
they
Yeah.
can appreciate it. Like we don't want to own it or
Hello.
make any money off of it. We just want to be more part of the show, and we've already kind of achieved that in a way.
Breaking that fourth wall. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And I mean, I've always been a huge fan of the show, and I think it encourages people to sort of think outside of the box of what they think reality is and like, economics and to expand on sort of what that means to people. Um, speaking of like meme coins, what are some other examples of meme
I thought
coins
you were
that
gonna
you
say
think have been
BSV.
successful, and sort of like what do you like about them? Like Doge is one that everyone sort of
Doge.
thinks about right off the bat, and I mean that one's a really neat one because you have Chinese people in the year of the dog buying Dogecoin because they think it'll bring them good luck, and you have it meaning like all these different things to different people, even though it's just sort of this meme that everyone sort of settled on. So what do you guys think about that?
There's this one meme coin that I've heard of. It's called the US dollar, where like these people created this.
A
These
lot of
people
people believe in
created
that one.
this fucking place that had these values, and they put these dudes' faces on it. They like kind of created this stuff, and then they started transferring amongst it, and it was like liberty, and freedom. Like it had this like crazy weird idea, and like we still use it to this day.
Needs
I
to
think
be
it's
backed
fucking
by
insane.
something, but yeah. Well, I can't
Sorry, I
can't
love
argue with
you. Made
that.
me laugh so hard. You made me laugh so hard. I dropped my headphones.
No, no, but I mean, Doge is probably like the key one that comes to mind. I think that a lot of them are actually a lot of these tokens are memes, the line, like I guess what I was just trying to illustrate there is that the line between what is a meme and what isn't is not actually very clear. Like think about all of those crazy assets that we were buying in 2016, 2017. I tracked about 6,000 of them with another business that I was involved in. And like, they weren't really used for anything. They were kind of like people that invested money to gain these tokens based on some idea that didn't exist yet, right? And that people built these communities, and a lot of them were about mooning and stuff like that. But people kind of chose their sensibilities. Like some people were like, yes, I believe in this marijuana exchange token, or this space token or whatever. And those are like a lot of the ICO boom to me is really there wasn't a big difference between memes because I mean Morty's has pretty much blown all of them away in utility, like all thousands of them, because they were never really used for anything other than to take people's money and to support an ICO founder's lifestyle or whatever.
Right, and the other thing is like you can truly see
We had we
with
had
the
merch
actual
created.
timeline of
We
Morty's,
had
you
an
can truly
Everypedia
see the
page
power that
created.
this
We
token
had a
had.
bunch of stuff going
So
on.
if
It's
you take
crazy.
it from the time that it was inception, so the very first day when Kurt minted the token, within 96 hours of minting the token, we had DAX, we had software being developed, we had databases being done. We essentially shut down the entire EOS ecosystem for 96 hours. Everybody stopped working on their projects and spent all their time working on Morty's just for the bribes. I mean, so that shows you the power of a bribe coin. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of other meme tokens too. Like I think there's one called Pepe. And so, you have these like crazy, almost right-leaning libertarians that love that. And, it's kind of about a tribe. And like Doge is like a certain kind of tribe, and Pepe is a certain kind of tribe. I've seen other ones that are like Hongbao coins that are like the Chinese like red envelopes. There's a lot of different ones out there. I mean, there's probably hundreds of meme coins total. But I think the idea behind it, and it's kind of a shame because the founder of Doge is like always really like
It's
shit
almost like a
talking
gift
what's going
card
on there. But I
for a
think that
community rather than like a
there's something
store.
really
Rather than a
huge
gift
behind
card to
meme coins
Target,
that people don't
you have
understand.
a
It's
gift
about
card
belonging
essentially,
and,
or like
and,
some
and
value
how
that can be
people are
used within a
tribal,
community.
something that
Now, however
makes
big that
us
community
uniquely
is,
human.
obviously, is
And
going to
we've
play
never
into
really
its
had a
value.
chance
But
to do that with currency before. Like we do it with clothing, and we do it with like music and all these other things, but we never really had a chance to do it with
show me what you
currency
got.
without really being like threatened. Like if you created a currency 100 years ago, like you would probably be killed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, find the Twitter and enter the
Yep.
contest. There's giveaways.
So if I'm
Anybody
someone
with
who
Morty
would
tokens.
really like some Morty tokens, what's the best way for me to go about finding someone who will give them to me?
Show me what you got. Good.
Yeah.
Show me what you
Yeah,
got.
probably jumping in the Telegram and just chatting with people. Usually someone will be there to bribe you. Like you'll come in and the like entry level bribe is really like sharing on social and then we'll send you some tokens. And then
Right, and the only one thing that is like, you, you got to be safe with your bribes. Like I was gonna put out a Fourth of July bribe for the best fireworks video while screaming Mortys, and I decided not to do that because I didn't want to see anybody's hands blow off. So you have to be really responsible with your
It's
bribes.
transparently shady.
Yeah, I have a ton of
So
fireworks sitting here. I might have given that one a go.
yeah.
Well, as long as you don't blow your hand off. I mean, I got 1 million Mortys for you.
Yeah,
yeah,
in
and,
LA,
and
it's probably that. I don't think that'll pay the felony conviction I'm gonna get. So,
And even though we're probably the shadiest token out there, we're trying to be pretty responsible about like some people will come in and bribe people to go to actual like ICO investment sites. And whenever we see any shit like that, we're not interested. Like I'll ban people.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I like
yeah.
to say it's honestly corrupt.
honestly corrupt. I like that one.
Honestly corrupt.
Well, that's great. Well, is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? What other I mean, I don't know if you guys wanted to touch on any of, your other companies that you guys have been working on or any other things that you think that are interesting out there that people should be paying attention to. Is there anything like
Well, I
that?
can, yeah, I mean, I can give you guys a little glimpse into the future. If you've ever seen the movie Ready Player One or the book Snow Crash, um, there's a new platform coming right now that's going to be on EOS as well. That is a full VR version of the Oasis. It's been 5 years in the making,
That's
and
crazy.
it's yeah, it works really well with the Oculus Quest. There's a cat named Bird out of Los Angeles that I've known for a long time, and I'm actually have a conversation with him later tonight in 2 hours now to integrate a Morty's payout stand inside of the VR arcade there in the
Oh, that'd be
in
something
yeah.
else.
So if you walk around, you go into the arcade, you can just punch Jerry in the face, and you'll get some Mortys sent to you.
I
Yeah,
love that.
currency of virtual
Yeah,
reality. That would be
this is
pretty
I
neat.
actually think this is the first time Kurt's hearing about it, so it was a little surprised. But
Yeah,
yeah, so
I
there's
love
there's
it.
yeah, there's some interesting, really cool platforms that are coming up. There's gonna be a lot of great trivia and stuff like that for the fans of Rick and Morty over on the Sense platform. They'll be able to just directly drop Mortys right on somebody in the chat by touching their name. So there's a lot of really cool real world things coming. A lot of old school things coming. Like I said, the maze game on the 833 Morty's four Morty's hotline. Right now, if you call it, you just get the intro theme, and then you hear Tim, doing a Rick and Morty impression. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the
that'll be
Twitter
coming in the
is just
future as
at
well.
Morty
So
Tokens.
the future is looking
I
bright for
think that's the
Mortys.
same for the Telegram.
That
Let me
sounds
check
super neat.
Telegram.
Awesome. Well, if there's anything else,
Yeah,
I
Morty's
encourage you
token
guys to
on
let the
Telegram.
audience
That's
know.
just the
But
main
other
ones,
than that,
Twitter and
I
Telegram. And then
wanted to
there's a
tell you
Facebook one
guys
too
we're
where
gonna have
people
some
can enter
giveaways for
the big
Morty's
$500
coming
million
up
dollar
soon. So if you want to
contest.
bribe your
And the info
friends
for
and
all that is in the
get a
Telegram.
feel for
So
the EOS network, we're gonna have some of those for you guys. You should keep an eye out for Morty's. Jared, if you wanted to maybe throw out some of you guys' social handles and where to find you guys, that'd be awesome.
thank you.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for being here, and I encourage you guys to check them out and their projects, and we'll be back soon with another episode. So, thank you guys for coming out, and we'll be back soon with another episode.
Thanks,
Awesome. Have a
guys.
great day. Thanks,
Yep.
guys.
Bye.
Music comes from people who are relaxed. Just hit a button, Morty. Give me a beat. Oh man, okay, all right. Do it. Why don't you find a button on one of those keyboards and lay down some kind of beat? I think we need to cut our losses when we get our family and Portal out of here. Morty, good music comes from people who are relaxed. Just hit a button, Morty. Give me a beat.
Show me what you got.